Good evening, and welcome to the 25th Annual Service to America Medals Gala. Please take a moment now to silence your wireless devices. Thank you.
There are somewhere around 1.5 million nonprofits in the world doing all kinds of important things for the public good, but very few are focused on trying to make our governments better, and that's the highest leverage way of impacting the quality of the world that we live in. So our theory is you can pursue whatever policies you want, but if our public infrastructure, our public sector institutions can't execute those effectively, you don't get very far. And our work is about trying to make sure that our government, our federal government, and state and local governments are up to the task of keeping us safe, making us more prosperous, healthier, and a stronger society.
Our Public Service Leadership Institute has trained tens of thousands of leaders at all levels, from emerging leaders to cabinet secretaries, to help them be more effective to deliver on the missions of their respective agencies.
And I think the partnership has shown an allegiance to the American people in its intention to make certain that it is helping to build leaders and to support administrations, no matter the party, and they're focused, they're intentional, they're dedicated to really ensuring the best in government.
We created the SAMMYs to honor the most innovative, effective public servants that are out there as an effort to help explain to the public what our government does for them and to create a culture of recognition internally in the government. Because we see that when you do that, you actually get better government.
And the partnership is a great venue to highlight the role and impact that these public servants are doing on a daily basis to ensure that people have clean water, people have access to the educational tools that they need, that we're pushing the bounds of American science and innovation, that we're ensuring that people can be able to wake up in the morning, go to work, afford their health care, and be able to have housing, be able to access the food that they need to live prosperous and better lives.
So the accomplishments of the partnership have been many, and the most powerful are the ones that you experience from the individual feedback that we get about the work that we've done that has changed their lives. In the pieces of legislation that we've passed, in the reform of the whole presidential transition process that we've accomplished, in the 1,800 universities that have participated in our Call to Serve effort to try to bring young people into government. The list goes on and on. We've done a lot, and frankly, there's a lot more to do.
Please welcome the President and CEO of the Partnership for Public Service, Max Stier.
All right, welcome to the SAMMYs, a night to recognize the best of our government. Big round of applause for all of you. So this is the 25th year of the partnership and the 25th SAMMYs, a program vital to our belief that celebrating what government does right is fundamental to its success. Since 2002, I have seen personally over 800 public servants take center stage, each with a unique story, but sharing a common devotion to the public good. Together, our honorees represent an extraordinary set of accomplishments for our country. The breadth of all our government does to make us safer, stronger, healthier, and more prosperous. So if you are a past or present SAMMYs honoree, Please stand or wave to be recognized. Okay, we're not done yet. Better yet, anyone who has worked in government, please stand or wave. Okay, all right. I can't see everyone individually, but there are a lot of unbelievable people. So I am so impressed by the public service community. When the chips are down, federal employees show up. And now they are showing up amid great pressure and uncertainty. Career civil servants are enduring unprecedented efforts to weaken our government and undermine its role as a public asset. We can have reasonable disagreements over what our government should do, but not over the idea that it exists to serve us all. So public servants are holding the line, and their resilience is compelling proof of the strength of the federal workforce. The SAMI shines a spotlight on this resolve. Building a brighter future starts with getting Americans to understand why government is relevant to them, why public servants matter, and what is at stake if both are threatened. It also means building plans for better government that an activated public is ready to get behind. And it means supporting career feds who are on the front lines, defending public service while connecting former federal employees to a growing and engaged civil service community. It also means working with state and local governments, which are filling the breach caused by turmoil in the federal space. At the partnership, we work on these goals every day. Over the past year, we have been challenged in extraordinary ways, but we are making extraordinary progress. I like to say we are playing defense and offense, protecting our government from harm while offering an alternative path to true reform. Think of us as the Shohei Ohtani of nonpartisan nonprofits, or maybe the Alexander Ovechkin for the DC crowd. Our impact is growing and our mission has never been stronger. But we cannot do this work alone. We need your help to realize our vision for the future. So please, whether you are a current or former public servant, a champion of good government, or a concerned observer of the current situation, stay in the arena. Tell your networks about public servants like our Sammy's honorees, and speak up about what is happening in government and how it could work better. We want to get you involved, so connect with us and join our growing community of believers in better government and stronger democracy. If you are a current federal employee, stay strong and keep speaking truth to power. Your work is critical, and we need each of you to meet the challenges of today and tomorrow. But for tonight, my biggest ask is that you enjoy yourselves. You all deserve it and have a lot to be proud of. So kick back for this very special Sammys. This year's show may feel more like a Hall of Fame induction than years past, and I will stop all sports analogies and jokes from here on out. Previously we recognized a full slate of honorees still working in government, and tonight we honor a mix of new and past honorees in 4 groupings. Some still work in government, some have left, but all have made a lasting imprint on our lives. Together they are a testament to public servants who are delivering results in a difficult climate and a caution flag about what we lose when our government is dismantled. Thank you for our many supporters who make this program and all that we do possible, our national and capital sponsors, Tom and Andy Bernstein, Bloomberg Philanthropies, the Karina Endowment Fund, Patty and George Weldy, Karam Bhatia, Google, Microsoft. The partnership needs your help to advocate for public servants, engage the public, and support our democracy through better government. And please visit our brand new website to learn how you can support our mission. I want to thank especially our board, and that starts with our chairman, Tom Bernstein, who is here. Along with Tom, we have a bunch of other board members, Nora Gardner, Scott Gould, General Les Lyles, Dan Tangerlini, George Weldy, and Neil Woolen. Thank you for being extraordinary partners in this work and for all that you do. And finally, thanks to all of you for making the Sammys possible and for this evening to be such a fantastic celebration. We have a tremendous opportunity in front of us, a public awakening to the value of government and committed supporters like you banding together to reimagine its future. To end, I can't help but borrow from an oddly fitting source, the world of Batman, with timely words that speak to our current moment. The night is darkest just before the dawn, and I promise you, the dawn is coming. The path forward may be difficult, but together we will build a better future for our country. So let's get rolling. Please welcome Libby Nixon, who will sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please welcome the former host of NPR's All Things Considered, current CNN contributor, and co-host of the upcoming podcast Engagement Party, award-winning journalist and best-selling author, Ari Shapiro.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to be here with you to MC the 25th Annual Service to America Medals. When the partnership first hosted these awards in 2002, Lord of the Rings was the biggest film of the year. American Idol was a brand new show, and for the first time, Americans could buy a cell phone with a camera. I, meanwhile, was a temp working the overnight shift as an editorial assistant on a show called Morning Edition. So we've all come a long way since then, and so have tonight's honorees. They have saved lives through medical advancements, protected Americans when tragedy and disaster struck. They have propelled our national economy, opened doors for underserved groups, safeguarded our natural environment, and so much more. We would love for you all to share the accomplishments that we are celebrating here tonight. And so, if you are on social media, please use the hashtag Sammys2026 to help spread the word about our award winners. You can learn more about them and their incredible accomplishments at servicetoamericamedals.org. Over the next hour, a star-studded roster of guests will welcome 4 groups of honorees to reflect on their impact. Those who have made our country safer, stronger, healthier, and more prosperous. You'll hear from at least one former and one current honoree from each group. You'll also learn what the partnership has been up to for the past 25 years, where it's going today, and how your support makes a difference. And there may even be some surprise cameos too. So let's dive in. Our first honoree is a former public servant and a 2015 Sammys winner who went to extraordinary lengths to keep us all safe. When Ebola raged in West Africa in 2014, she worked across 5 federal agencies and 4 countries to keep the disease from our shores and to protect US government workers. Please welcome, formerly of the US Agency for International Development, Mia Beers.
Good evening. What an exciting night. Thank you to the Partnership for Public Service for bringing us together to celebrate 25 years of honoring the federal workforce. Public service is what turns the work of government into results in people's lives. It keeps Americans safe. It keeps the economy functioning. It keeps the systems we depend on running, often without recognition. 11 years ago, I was honored to accept this medal on behalf of the U.S. Agency for International Development and our incredible interagency colleagues who together form the U.S. Ebola Disaster Assistance Response Team. By then, I had already led U.S. humanitarian responses to genocide, famine, war, earthquakes, and tsunamis, many of the worst days of other people's lives. Ebola was different, new even for the most experienced among us. The outbreak in West Africa was fast-moving, a regional crisis that escalated quickly into a global one. It was a national security and global stability threat. In the field, we used to say we were flying the plane as we built it, building treatment centers while patients arrived, training health workers while colleagues fell ill. As people continued dying, not knowing in the early days whether we were closing the gap or losing it. But America was at the forefront. Incredible women and men from CDC, the US military, the Commission Corps, State Department, USAID. Courageous West African health workers. Tireless international and local partners on the ground alongside them. More than 11,000 people died before we collectively beat back Ebola. Our response made America and the world safer. It addressed a global health threat before it could become a national crisis. It helped control a deadly epidemic. It reduced the risks to Americans here at home. And it ultimately reshaped how the world prepared for pandemics. What stays with me is the people, their talent, their drive, their willingness to put themselves on the front lines to get the job done. They were USAID and the interagency at our best. Tonight, we honor public servants who keep watch over the country, often unnoticed. Their work keeps Americans safer. Let's learn how with a short video.
When natural disasters, national tragedies, or threats around the world compromise our well-being, civil servants are on the ground keeping us safe in the critical moments. 25 years ago, thousands of federal employees, like Kenneth Concepcion, played a vital role in the immediate response to 9/11 and the nation's long-term recovery. Kenneth was the first U.S. Coast Guard employee at Ground Zero on 9/11, who quickly organized city police officers and federal officials to ensure 70,000 frightened people made their way to safety amidst the mayhem of an unfathomable disaster. And in 2010, when we experienced the worst oil spill in the country's history, it was Paul Shea who was perhaps the only person on the planet with the scientific knowledge and ingenuity to contain the oil well rupture and end the weeks-long environmental disaster. And federal employees aren't just keeping us safe at home. They're keeping Americans safe and defending our interests around the world. Laura Cooper and her team brought together more than 50 countries to deliver military supplies to Ukraine in its war with Russia, a remarkable accomplishment in international cooperation. As a USAID employee, Mia Beers delivered when thousands of lives were at stake as Ebola ripped through Western Africa, creating a global crisis. Working with public servants across government, Mia stemmed the tide of Ebola, saved lives, and prevented it from reaching US shores. At home and abroad, federal employees are protecting us and the things we care about most every day.
Please welcome the White House Chief of Staff for President George W. Bush, Josh Bolten, and the White House Chief of Staff for President Joe Biden, Jeff Zients.
Good evening, everybody. I'm delighted to be here once again at the Sammys, or what my wife and I like to call the best night out in Washington. My dear friend Jeff and I worked for different administrations of different political parties, but we both believed strongly in the value of public service and the critical importance of a nonpartisan civil service. Behind every Sammys honoree is a bedrock principle of democratic government, that our nation's public servants should be hired on merit, serve across administrations, and put country over party. That's a tradition that keeps American government vital, and it is something Americans of all political stripes should agree on. Thank you to the partnership for always holding firm to this idea. And thanks to all the career civil servants whose professionalism and patriotism continue to make a big difference for us all.
Good evening. Like Josh, and like all administrations, we relied on career civil servants to keep the government running. Every day, they wake up and do the work that Americans count on, such as processing benefits, responding to crises, and keeping us safe. Not for profit, but for the public. Darren Lacey is an exceptional civil servant. When a very sophisticated cyber attack hit the State Department, targeting US officials with ties to China and threatening hundreds of millions of people, Darren led a team that shut it down in just 10 days. The government's fundamental responsibility is to keep us safe. And thanks to Darren, the American people can rest a little easier. Please welcome to the stage 2026 Service to America Medals honoree, Darren Lacey.
Good evening, Sammys 2026. I need feedback. Good evening, Sammys 2026. There we go. Thank you to the Partnership for Public Service and to everyone in this room who wakes up every day and chooses mission and service above all. This honor belongs to all of you. I want to take a moment to recognize the men and women of the Foreign Service, Diplomatic Security, and in particular, my team, Cyber and Technology Security. Every day, there are Americans who change schools for their kids, ask their spouses to leave careers, pick up their households, and yes, transports pets, even leopard geckos. That one's for you, baby girl. And do so voluntarily year after year because they believe representing the American people overseas is worth it. This is not a job description. This is a calling. Those colleagues become family, and those families deserve our admiration and our protection. That is the work that my team does every single day across 270 locations on every continent. And I could not be more proud today to accept this award on their behalf. To my own family, Melanie, Juliana, Logan, my mom, Gwinnett, my dad, George, my sister, Jana, who are here tonight. You live this life alongside of me. Thank you for your sacrifice. You made so that I could serve. None of this happens without you, and none of this happens without the families of all those who serve in government. And to anyone watching who sees this later who's considering a life of public service, just remember, it's not for everyone. The mission is real, the work is hard, but if you're built for it, it's amazing, and it's a life full of adventure. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh and Jeff, and congratulations, Garen, on such an impressive career. And now on to our next honoree category. These public servants have made our society stronger, from protecting our natural environment and managing the effects of climate change to opening economic doors for vulnerable youth and holding accountable those who seek to defraud the public. Let's learn more with a short video.
A stronger country means more than might and power. It means stronger communities and a stronger society. Caring for the environment, bringing bad actors to justice, protecting and investing in vulnerable communities. And federal employees are at the heart of the action. The air we breathe, what could be more elemental? Just ask Walter Benjamin Fischrow, who coordinated the largest Clean Air Act enforcement actions in history, resulting in the reduction of harmful air pollutants by nearly 2 million tons each year. At NOAA, Jamie Rome and his team developed a new storm surge warning system that has helped millions of people, many from disadvantaged communities, to evacuate threatened areas over the last decade. In the wake of Hurricane Sandy, a young Transportation Department employee named Adam Schildga created a multi-billion-dollar grant program to help communities invest in making their public transportation systems more resilient to future disasters. Federal employees are fighting for you, for us, for our communities, and our country. That takes tenacity and maybe a bit of ingenuity too. Sarah Bloom and her team at the Department of Justice investigated Pfizer for illegally marketing 4 medications and paying kickbacks to doctors in on the scheme. They won the largest healthcare fraud settlement in history, $2.3 billion. That's tenacity. Every year, more than 20,000 foster children in the U.S. turn 18 and are sent into the world alone, many ending up experiencing homelessness. Enter Michelle Daniels, Ryan Jones, Charles Eldridge, and their team. Their innovative housing voucher program provides rental assistance and other services to these foster youth, helping them work towards self-sufficiency. That's the kind of ingenuity we need for a stronger America.
This year's honoree in the Stronger category, Jill Frisch, unfortunately could not be with us tonight. Formerly of the IRS, Jill led the charge to reduce or eliminate foreign tax shelters used by large multinational corporations to artificially lower their federal tax liability. Over nearly 40 years, she prosecuted 44 cases and recovered billions of dollars for the government. Few have done more to support the integrity of our tax system or to illustrate the benefits of an effective IRS. Please join me in congratulating Jill on her accomplishments. And now let's meet a past honoree whose work helped build a stronger America. Please welcome New York Times best-selling author, podcaster, and host of the PBS interview show Tell Me More, Kelly Corrigan, and 2019 Sammy's honoree, the Deputy Director of the National Hurricane Center, Jamie Rome.
I kind of can't believe that's what Ari Shapiro looks like. And I think TV could have worked for him. So before you came along with all your big ideas about how to do things, how did we prepare people when it was clear a hurricane was coming?
So the way the United States and much of the world evacuated in advance of a hurricane.
Can you hear him? Can you hear him? Does he need to bring it closer?
The way we evacuated in advance of a hurricane was based off very simple metrics, largely the Saffir-Simpson scale, which is a scale of severity of wind speed from 1 to 5. So determining who would go and who would stay would be based off a simple number. And this often resulted in mass over-evacuations, which repeated over time, people would stop evacuate. I mean, who wants to sit in a car for 15 hours with their kids running out of batteries and running out of gas? And so people stopped evacuating, which was resulting in mortality rates from storm surge just going up and up and up.
And then?
And then we had this naive idea that if we sort of more explicitly warned on storm surge, which was the leading killer in hurricanes at the time, and told people why they were being asked to evacuate. So in the past, it was sort of like, trust me, you should evacuate. I'm a respected person, and people either did or didn't evacuate based off whatever they thought at the time.
What happened the last time they evacuated?
Right,
probably,
exactly.
right?
The last time they were sitting in a car for 15 hours. Now we were telling them why, specifically why they were being asked to evacuate. We were showing them how deep the water could be, how far inland the water could go. And it was no longer this trust me. It was sort of like, here's the data, you decide, which was a sort of very novel concept of letting the public decide for themselves. Was a very scary concept at the time.
But based on excellent information that had never before been available.
Correct.
Can you imagine the number of fights that you eliminated between a husband and a wife who were saying, we have to leave right now? We don't have to leave right now, right?
Yeah, we
Because
actually interviewed a husband and a wife after Irma in the Florida Keys, and we asked both why they evacuated, and the ladies appropriately said, I saw your maps, I interpreted them, and then they got in an argument.
This is all very familiar, but I'll move on. And now, this is the way that we do it in the United States. Does anyone else around the world do it this way?
Increasingly, yes. The success of the U.S. program has been so significant. Mortality has plummeted, And evacuations now are, instead of the entire state of Florida fleeing to Georgia and Tennessee, we now ask people to drive across the causeway. Literally, we ask people to drive across the causeway 5 minutes. This enables local communities to even go one step further as to say, we will pay for your Uber or Lyft trip because it's so attainable, so reachable.
Yeah.
This has become so successful that other countries are coming to us for assistance. I was just in Belize a couple of weeks ago trying to help probably one of the most storm surge vulnerable communities within the entire Caribbean. Pretty much all of Belize City, if you've ever been there, is underwater in a major hurricane, and teaching them, how to have this trust in their citizens to empower them to evacuate.
And the fear was that if you gave them this much information, they either would panic and freeze, or there would be just this
Chaos.
sort of chaotic.
Chaos. At the time when we started doing this, the conventional wisdom was that the public could not understand. They could not decipher. They could not decide for themselves. Like someone had to sort of tell them what to do. You evacuate or you don't evacuate. We sort of flipped the paradigm upside down and said, we'd like to tell you why we're asking you to evacuate. The trust and transparency that came with that approach has led to better compliance of evacuation orders, better execution, and again, mortality. What was the leading cause of deaths in hurricanes, storm surge, is now fourth behind other causes of death.
The very first time you did it, was there sort of a general panic in your office that, like, boy, you better be right, mister?
I think that's been the story of my career. But yeah, I mean, it was very, so not just the technology was scary enough, and not just the visibility. The Hurricane Center is probably one of the most visible parts of NOAA, my parent agency, and then one of the most visible parts of government, for 3 or 4 months out of the year. Not just that, but this notion of you can entrust the public, to make a good decision.
Yeah. Could you say why you chose public service rather than go into the private sector?
I think all of us want to do something bigger than ourselves, or contribute something bigger than ourselves. Whether it's community or church or whatever. All of us have this natural desire to do something bigger than ourselves. For government, it's like the opportunity to scale that to such a large degree, and then working for the National Weather Service and National Hurricane Center, to do it not just for this country, but to help other countries. The scale is just monumental.
Yeah, it's the ultimate scale.
Yeah.
How is recruiting?
Recruiting is good because we get people all the time who want to come to the National Hurricane Center, who see. Usually, it's best during hurricane season. People see us on TV, on camera, doing things, or they just have they have a storm that impacts them, and they're like, "That's what I want to do." Yeah. So you definitely get a spike in interest after big weather events, whether it's the spring tornadoes or hurricane season.
What's your prediction for the 2026 hurricane season?
A smart person told me never make a forecast you don't have to make.
This is the very wise Jamie Rome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly and Jamie, for that great conversation. And for the record, you all look nothing like what I imagined either. So let's keep the momentum going. We're next going to honor 2 federal scientists whose medical innovations have reduced chronic disease and helped Americans live longer, healthier lives, starting with 2 past Sammys honorees. Steven Rosenberg, a 2015 winner, is the father of immunotherapy, the now common practice of using properties from the body's immune system to fight cancer. In the 1980s, he and his team at the National Institutes of Health developed the first immune-based treatment to attack cancer cells and pioneered the use of genetically engineered anti-tumor cells. He is the recipient of at least 15 awards, including the National Medal of Technology and Innovation, the nation's highest honor for technological achievement. 2017 honoree Courtney Lias also achieved a medical first. She and her team paved the way for FDA approval of the first ever artificial pancreas, a device used by millions of people worldwide to manage type 1 diabetes. Working with medical device companies, doctors, hospitals, advocacy groups, researchers, and others, Courtney transformed a once slow and cumbersome process into a model of efficiency without sacrificing patient safety. As a result, this life-changing device came on the market at least 3 years earlier than expected. And here's the best news of all. Both Stephen and Courtney remain in government, still sparking life-saving science on behalf of us all. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
Well, I was deeply honored to receive the Service for America Medal about a decade ago. As you've heard, I spent my entire career at the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland, working to develop new immunotherapies for the treatment of patients with cancer, and several of these treatments have been approved by the Food and Drug Administration and are in widespread use. The NIH is the world's greatest medical and scientific research institution. It's been referred to as the crown jewel of the US government. It's solely devoted to the creation of new scientific information, not only to provide the best care for people today, but mainly has a mandate to create the medicine of tomorrow. I've been proud to be part of this wonderful institution for the past 50 years and still got to work every day trying to develop new treatments for diseases for patients that don't have other alternatives today. So thank you.
Nearly a decade ago, I was honored to receive the Service to America Medal for Management Excellence. This award was given for work that enabled people living with type 1 diabetes to get access to the world's first automated insulin dosing system, sometimes called an artificial pancreas system, 3 years earlier than expected. To this day, I feel pride in that SAMI award because it reminds me of what's possible when science, regulation, and public service move with urgency and purpose. As a public servant still, I'm so proud of the impact my team in FDA's Office of In Vitro Diagnostic Devices have on the life and health of Americans every day. We continue to facilitate the availability of transformative healthcare innovations, from the first blood test for Alzheimer's disease to accessible at-home tests for flu and RSV, giving people faster answers and their clinicians better tools to help patients. This is one of many reasons why federal civil service matters. Civil servants help breakthrough technologies reach patients safely and efficiently. Behind every decision is a commitment to the public good through career professionals working quietly, rigorously, and tirelessly. I'm so honored tonight to recognize our fantastic federal employees and their impressive accomplishments. Here are a few more who have made our country healthier.
Polio, HPV, cancer, traumatic brain injury, COVID, deadly allergies. From protecting public health and preventing disease outbreaks to cutting-edge scientific research and medical treatments, federal employees are making our nation healthier. In fact, they've been behind some of the biggest advances in health and medicine in recent decades. Take Dr. Steven Rosenberg, a surgeon and NIH researcher who revolutionized treatment for life-threatening cancers. Or the VA's Dr. Anne McKee, who has changed our understanding of brain diseases and injuries. Or Agricultural Research Service scientist Sohaila Maleki, who created a fundamental shift in knowledge around peanut allergies and developed a low-allergy peanut and the first medication to help prevent serious allergic reactions. Or Dr. Douglas Lowy and John Schiller, who worked together for more than 20 years to discover a way to generate infection-fighting antibodies and made a vaccine against the virus that causes cervical cancer, a massive change for women's health. Their work, and that of thousands more federal employees like them, has touched millions of lives. The words used to describe these doctors and scientists are groundbreaking, game-changing, transformational, and influential. Without them, there is no progress. There are no treatments and cures and vaccines. There is no understanding, and perhaps no hope. But with them there is endless possibility, sustained progress, and a brighter, healthier future for all of us.
Please welcome Chief Washington Correspondent and Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent for NBC News, Andrea Mitchell.
Good evening. It is such a privilege to be here. And before I talk about this great man whom we're honoring tonight, I just want to say this week, almost 250 Foreign Service officers were fired by the State Department. And this is the conclusion of something that started in July when they were riffed and the lawsuits, were not successful. So I just want to say I've covered the State Department full-time since 1994, and I've seen and worked alongside Foreign Service officers all over the world and U.S. aid workers and others, and what they do is so valiant and courageous and so dedicated. And I just want to say that the firings at the State Department have been profound, and we have to keep remembering and honoring all of them every day, and the people that they have served so brilliantly for so many decades. So I am so pleased to be here to join in celebrating the service of our government workers, and particularly it's an honor to introduce James Seichman, this year's Sammy's honoree in the healthier category. For decades, James has armed the government with the data that it needs to address air pollution. Most recently, he led efforts to validate data provided by the TEMPO satellite, the first space-based instrument to continuously measure air quality across North America during daytime hours. Before that, he enhanced the air quality index found on weather apps and cell phones, enabling those with immunocompromised systems to protect themselves. James works at the EPA, but since 1998, he has been on assignment at NASA, helping the agency translate its research into recommendations for healthier air. That's as cool a job as any astronaut, I think. So James, congratulations on your remarkable work. Please welcome James Seichman.
Wow, to be introduced by Andrea, what an honor. I can't believe that. My wife, she couldn't make it today, and you're one of her favorite persons. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, it's truly an honor to get this award. I'm deeply honored to have it, and good evening. They say that public service is invisible, much like the air we breathe. For decades, my mission at EPA, alongside our partners at NASA, has been to make that invisible world seen. With the launch of the Tempo, we are now monitoring our air in real time, hour by hour, across the continent. We aren't just collecting data, we are providing a mirror that shows how our choices shape the world that sustains us. But to the American public, it isn't about complex algorithms or satellite footprints. It's about providing benefit for the public good. It's working to translate the gold standard of satellite data into a simple tool, like an app a parent can check to see if the air is safe for their asthmatic child before soccer practice. I share this honor with an extraordinary group of colleagues, especially the recently defunct EPA Office of Research and Development. I want to thank Dr. Jack Fishman and Doreen Neal from NASA, the late Dr. Gary Foley from EPA, three visionaries who worked to bridge the gap between our agencies and allowed me the chance to do this work. Also, many thanks to Dr. Kelly Chance and Dr. Zhang Liu for leading Tempo to, a successful launch and bringing the data to fruition. Finally, I want to thank my dear wife, Dr. Lisa Seichman. Her own career and support provided the very foundation that allowed me to connect with NASA and these incredible partners in the first place. Thank you to the Partnership for Public Service for recognizing that science isn't just a professional pursuit. It is essential to a healthy and informed society. Thank you very much.
All right, it's time for another very special guest. For more than a decade, he has been a tremendous friend of the Sammys and the partnership. He is also one of the finest storytellers in America, the author of several best-selling books, including two, The Fifth Risk and Who is Government, that give life to achievements of federal workers, including past Sammys honorees. You may know him as the brains behind Moneyball, The Blind Side, The Big Short, and many more. Please welcome to the stage Michael Lewis.
Several best-selling books? That doesn't sound right. It is such an honor to be here. And it's a relief to see all of these civil servants still alive. We're not done yet, I don't think. I don't think we're done here. The first I heard of the Sammys was nearly a decade ago. I was working on a magazine piece for Vanity Fair that got completely out of control when Max Stier got on the phone with me and said, "I've got your next book for you." The book ended up being called The Fifth Risk. It started out as a story about the first Trump transition. But what it really wanted to be was a portrait of federal workers, like these mission-driven people who shape our lives but never want to tell their story. People who are insistent that the spotlight be on someone else. That book was how I met Max, and I think Max and I would be friends even if he wasn't so useful to me. But I actually do not know, because he continues to be incredibly useful to me. He knows and cares more about civil servants and the inner workings of American government than anyone I have ever met. And I have met a lot of people. He's built an organization, the Partnership, that actually is trying to solve huge problems that most people don't want to even think about. It's redefined presidential transitions. It's created standards of government leadership. It's taken a great big spotlight and shined it on these people who don't particularly want it, you people. It's more critical every day to this country that it hears about your work. And that's why we're here. Welcome to the Sammys, brainchild of Max Stier. who I also think of as America's maybe least likely showman. He shows up every year in that same tux, and I expect him to like seat me at the Copacabana or introduce Don Rickles at the Golden Nugget. Promotion comes so unnaturally to him that it counts as an act of bravery. But then Max is brave. Don't take it from me. Let's hear it from a few others.
Committed to quality leadership, recognizing unsung public servants, and offering nonpartisan solutions to transform government for all Americans. Max's vision has left a lasting impact for over 25 years.
Max is a spectacular leader. He leads from the front, he puts himself out there, he takes risks, and he speaks passionately about the importance of a strong public service for our country.
Max's focus is never on politics or personalities, but on continuity, on competence in government, on outcomes, on ensuring that whoever governed next would be prepared on day one. And that has always been his North Star, and that has served our country so well.
He is relentless, he is tireless, and he's creative. Max has boundless energy, optimism, and commitment. And he goes at it every day. And because of that, he's really made a difference.
A fierce advocate for public service, a leader of deep integrity and purpose, a keen mind who knows government inside and out. Across 5 presidential administrations, Max has never wavered in his commitment to protecting and improving our most important public institution.
He has grown the organization over time. Most importantly, he's grown the benefit of the organization for federal employees. He's the one who's brought the attention in an apolitical, nonpartisan way to the benefits of supporting federal employees as they do their work for all of us citizens.
In these very tough and divided days in our country, we cannot overlook the accomplishments of Max Stier and the Partnership for Public Service, because you have continually put forth in the public mind the central ideal that the government must be an instrument for the common good and the well-being of all our people. And that public philosophy is central to successful democracy.
In an era when trust in institutions is fragile, Max Stier has built in the Partnership, the leading champion for better government and a bridge across sectors and the political aisle for effective public service. That's rare, and 25 years in, it's something to be celebrated.
Max, you have done more to put public servants on the map than anyone in modern memory. From the very beginning of the partnership, you've been out there beating the drum, calling for more attention and more support for those federal workers who otherwise would go unrecognized for the absolutely essential role they play in keeping our country on track, in making us a better place and a better people. On behalf of a grateful nation, we thank you.
Max.
Yes.
So, they've given me some things to ask you. I'm not sure I'm going to ask you these things.
I'm confident you will not ask those of me, so. And I'm still processing, so I could say.
So you and I mean, I'm in the middle of another book about the government. And so you and I are talking all the time. I've been tracking you the last 18 months. And you've been to hell and back. I mean,
I think I'm still in hell.
No.
Sorry.
No, you haven't. No, it's been very interesting watching you just psychologically. I don't think you're actually capable of cynicism, pessimism. You go to dark places, you come back, you naturally bounce back. But catch us up. Like, how are we doing? How are you feeling? Give us a sense. Give us a sense.
Okay, so I am processing a lot here. So one thing that most people probably don't know is this is all first time seeing any of this. So.
Okay. Oh. Well, people, it's a cynical world we live in, and people can find selfish motives for almost everything. It's very hard to get to the bottom of a selfish motive for what you do. That there are in this world the givers and the takers, and you are a giver, and you are dealing with an audience of people who've found kind of the joy of giving of yourself. So that's what's going on here. I mean, everybody feels that. The show doesn't have to be that good. People are going to show up, right? I mean, you've discovered that too. So,
yes.
so I want to know. I want to know. All right, so screw this.
Yes, yeah.
So
I'll answer your question now.
Here's what I want to know.
I can answer your question, which is, look, I am hopeful. Like, I do believe that there is an amazing opportunity to activate the public to understand something that they should always have understood and haven't. Okay. And I shared with you today, you know, again, you're the story maestro, and I know the stories are most important, and I do gravitate towards data. And the data that says...
I wrote Moneyball. I'm sorry.
That's true.
Don't stick me with that tag.
You're right. You do story and data.
All right.
Do it both.
Okay,
so you can offense, defense.
Okay, right.
Okay. So, but the proposition is that we've seen a 10-point jump in Americans' belief that civil servants are there to help people like them.
Yep.
And that's powerful.
It is powerful.
Yeah. And I think yes, this is the way out for us as a public that understands and cares and then supports and demands of political leaders that they do better and more.
What are you doing? You're in the paper every day. What are you doing to get the story of public servants out there? What are you doing to try to fight the narrative war? Because that is what's going on.
Yes.
It is a narrative war.
Yes.
You and I talk about this all the time.
Yes. So that's part of what I'm doing is talking to you. So, no, like you're an extraordinary voice in this world.
It is so easy to tell these stories. The minute you start paying attention, the stereotype of the government worker just melts. You know, these are not hard stories to tell. That it is embarrassingly how just great they are. So, all right, I'm part of it. What are you doing? Like, do you have any kind of? I hope I'm not your only plan.
No.
Okay.
So, I mean, and this is a great example of it. Like I've had, I'm sitting next to my amazing public servant wife, who's like, that's great, that's a great job, and I'm like, I did none of this, and it's our, it's our team that is working to fight that narrative battle that you're discussing.
Right.
And some of it is in the things that most of us read in the, so we've had 20,000 articles in the last year, but we recognize to reach the people that we really need to reach, we have to develop muscles in social media, influencers, trusted messengers, and so we're building that capacity right now to be able to take these stories and this information to places that it needs to go. And we're at the front edge of that, but it's an incredible team, as you've seen from today, that's doing that work.
How hard did you have to think before you started to really get your name in the paper? I mean, you have always been neutral. The partnership,
I'm still neutral. I'm neutral for good stuff.
I know.
Yes.
Yes. You know what I'm saying.
Yes.
No one has said his name tonight, but you know what I'm saying. And so we'll continue that. We just like the name that we will not speak.
Yes.
But
yes.
But that person.
Yes.
Is irritated by you. So you never put yourself in that position before. You had to decide to do that. Walk me through the decision.
So there are people in the audience here who have been irritated with me for statements I've made
well,
with other presidents as well. But it is, you're right. I mean, we have always believed that our DNA was about being constructive, and it was working in partnership with the leaders of our government and with the federal workforce to make it better. And we are not there right now. We're in a world in which we have to stand up for what I've never thought would ever be questioned, but the idea that our government is there for the public good and not the interests of the
idea of a nonpartisan civil service.
Nonpartisan civil service, which is a critical element, but the larger framing is this idea of the vast difference between being a leader in government for the public good versus private interest.
Yeah.
So walk through the decision, it wasn't hard. Like our DNA, you heard referencing our leadership model is based on this idea that leading in government is special because you are a steward of the public good, and you have, he who shall not be named, whose proposition is no. Leading is no different for me as president as it was in the private sector. That is unique to our history, actually. Even going back to the spoils system, of the 19th century, there was not anything quite like this. So, in my view, you have your North Star, you have your values, and you do not compromise those. And
Would everybody in our culture thought that way?
Well, I think I honestly don't feel like there's any choice. I think you have to do it. You have to stand up, and the chips fall where they do. You saw a picture of my family. I think about my kids, and the world that they are growing up in, and I have no choice. Right. I have to do that.
Let's talk about the Sammys for a minute.
Yeah, good topic.
What have they meant to you? And when you look back over the last 25 years, what kind of sticks out?
I mean, it's a joyous, just a crazy joyous moment. Like I really do. This is 25 of them. I remember the first one, and I don't remember much in my life. Like it's all sort of a blur, but I really do remember it, and just being blown away by the incredible accomplishments. And then on the second year, being terrified because I felt like, wow, we already recognized the great things that our federal government was doing. And there were yet another incredible range of stories of people doing amazing things. And every year I became less worried about the well going dry until today. And now I'm worried about that. So I think that's what is at stake. But
isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it kind of crazy that the problem you have in the beginning is that people are uncomfortable being recognized because they're just not used to that kind of attention? And now the problem you have is they get fired if they get the award?
I think it is, it's a sad testament about where we are in our country. And again, my view is, our federal employees have been ignored for too long and they're being erased. Yeah. And erasure is a lot worse. I think we are seeing loss aversion in practice, so that Americans are being introduced to something that they're losing, that they need to care about, and our energies are to make that something that creates something better for the future.
So we're looking back. When you started the partnership, if someone had told you this is where you would be, not where the country would be, but what the partnership's role in the culture would be, would you have been surprised?
100%. I would have been surprised. But
what did you think?
I had no idea.
Remind everybody what you thought you were doing.
But see, like at the very beginning, first of all, my general view of the world is you don't plan your life, you do, and that creates best future outcomes. So I have no idea what's going to happen next year or the year following, whatever. I don't know. So I didn't have a vision about what the partnership would be. I certainly didn't think I would be doing this 25 years later, because I hadn't done anything. I was barely 25 years old. So I had no clue. But I feel a great deal of I'm not sure what the right word is, but peace in my soul. Like I feel like I'm doing what I need to do.
You are. Ladies and gentlemen, Max Stier.
I want to make sure Max sees that everybody is giving him a standing ovation. What an amazing tribute to the work you've done here. Thank you, Michael and Max, for that great talk and for everything that you have done for this community. We have one more group of Sammys honorees to recognize. These are the folks who help us thrive and prosper, driving economic growth and opportunity, and improving the quality of life for millions of Americans. As a research scientist at the Department of Veterans Affairs, Rory Cooper has revolutionized the safety, comfort, and usability of wheelchairs and assistive technology for people with disabilities. Like Stephen, he is a recipient of the National Medal of Technology and Innovation, but that's not all. A veteran, he holds more than 20 patents. He's a member of the National Inventors Hall of Fame, and he's appeared on everything from the cover of Oprah magazine to a box of Cheerios. And he's not only a Sammys medalist, but an Olympic medalist, receiving the bronze in the 4x400 meter wheelchair relay at the 1988 Paralympic Games. Please welcome 2017 Sammys honoree, Rory Cooper.
Thank you. Thank you, Ari, for that wonderful introduction, and congratulations to all current and past Sammys winners. It was actually one of the highlights of my professional career. So when I was injured serving my country, I never imagined I would go on to serve it again, this time as a VA scientist and engineer. And actually, I got to wear the uniform of the United States again as a Paralympic athlete. But this time, is the beauty of civil service. It gave me a second mission in life. I believe a nation is truly prosperous when every one of its citizens can participate fully in work, in school, in community, and in life. That is what drives the work that we do every day in our laboratories at the Department of Veterans Affairs. When we develop a better, more affordable wheelchair, a veteran gets back to work. When we engineer adaptive sports technology, a wounded warrior competes again and wins. When we train the next generation of rehabilitation engineers, we are building a workforce that strengthens America's innovation and global competitiveness for decades to come. This is what we do. We not just serve the public, we invest in it. We take the long view. We show up every day for the person in front of us who deserves a better life. Receiving the Sammys in 2017 reminded me that this work is seen and that it matters to all of us, not just to veterans, but to America. For me, civil service is not a career, it's a calling. And when we answer it well, we make this country stronger, more innovative, and more prosperous. And now here are some of the Sammy honorees who will answer this call to help our nation thrive. Thank you.
Prosperity. Sure, it's about money, but it's more than just that. It's about economic opportunity, about all of us, together, thriving. Federal employees like our Sammys honorees make that shared prosperity possible. What can the government do to help revitalize disadvantaged communities? Turns out, a lot. Lisa Jones created a first-of-its-kind bond program to connect struggling neighborhoods to funding that has financed small businesses, affordable housing, healthcare facilities, and charter schools, and all at no cost to taxpayers. How do you sell air? Yes, that's a real question. Because if you're Evan Correll and that air contains the public airwaves, you auction it off. Our government was sitting on tons of unused electromagnetic spectrum, the stuff that makes most digital communication possible, including that cell phone in your pocket. It's on silent, right? Evan saw an opportunity. Relying on Nobel-winning research, Evan set up an auction system that has brought in more than $200 billion while unleashing the digital revolution. I'm sold. What do you do when you need to save the American economy? Under enormous pressure and with no time to spare, the Treasury Department in 2008 had to administer an unprecedented $700 billion to help combat the nation's financial meltdown. Jenny Main, David Miller, and Timothy G. Massett tackled this mind-blowing responsibility head-on. scaling up and successfully implementing a massive effort to prevent another Great Depression. How do you turn a personal setback into public progress? Rory Cooper was in the Army serving in Germany when a bicycle accident left him paralyzed and confined to a wheelchair. Cooper went on to found the nation's leading assistive technology research laboratory and has been the driving force behind innovations in the design of wheelchairs, adaptive sports and recreational equipment, and rehabilitation instrumentation. Advances that have helped tens of thousands to live fuller lives.
Please welcome co-anchor and co-managing editor of the PBS NewsHour, Emmy Award winner Amna Nawaz.
Good evening, everyone. I am thrilled to introduce the 2026 Service to America Medals honoree in the More Prosperous category. At the Department of Agriculture, Kurt Van Tassel, Paul Van Raden, and Ransom Baldwin are boosting an industry worth more than $8 billion in annual sales, the cattle industry. That's right, thanks to these USDA scientists, breeders and farmers can now identify the highest milk-producing cows and breed them with bulls that have high ratings based on their pedigrees and genetic testing. The results? Holy cow. Each U.S. dairy cow now produces nearly 2,800 gallons of milk annually. That is twice as much as in 1980. That is utterly impressive. U.S. cows now consume 90 million fewer pounds of feed every year. Unbelievable. And the economic loss from disease is down 66%. Those stats are legendary. All of that is critical to growing an industry that supports more than 3 million jobs and $198 billion in annual U.S. wages. What an incredible accomplishment. I am all out of bovine puns, so please join me in welcoming Sammy's honoree, Ransom Baldwin.
On behalf of Paul, Kurt, and myself, I wish to express our heartfelt thanks to the Partnership for Public Service for honoring the work we have done for the taxpayers, including both our projects' work, but also the fine examples of other work being done today. For more than a century, U.S. dairy farmers have trusted our project to use their data to improve their cows. The new tools we developed to directly use DNA data in genetic selection are now helping more farmers improve cows and other livestock species and crops. We need to thank our families for their support, especially Joanne and Andrew, Jenny, and Leland, who are with us here today. Don't rub it into your siblings. In addition, we thank previous generations of USDA scientists and Agricultural Research Service in particular for supporting the development of our database and fostering the industries and the producers' trust in our data analysis. That trust ensured consistent data flow from our producers that has enabled our new tools to be adopted in real time. Finally, we thank taxpayers for funding the foundational research, which has resulted in the launch of the genomics revolution, making food more healthy and affordable for Americans and the world. We each join the government to maximize the potential benefits from our research and hope that the future generations will understand the value of supporting research for the public good. Thank you again. So we go. I don't know which way to go.
Congratulations again, gentlemen. It has been such a pleasure to join you tonight to celebrate the best in government. Champions like you make the Sammys and the Partnership for Public Service possible. Thank you for your support during this critical time. The partnership needs your help to re-inspire faith in public service, to build better government, and to support and develop civil servants. Please visit ourpublicservice.org to get involved. And please share the extraordinary stories we heard tonight with your family, your coworkers, your friends, neighbors, and more. The Sammys will air again on WETA Metro this summer. Be on the lookout for a time and date from the partnership. And now we invite you all to continue the conversation at our post-show reception. Good night, take care, and thank you all for joining us.